Thank you. It's an honor to be here tonight and a solemn responsibility. I apologize if what I'm about to say seems a little down. Maybe in a few minutes you'll understand why. We live in a world where virtue is in ever shorter supply. Take, for example, dishonesty in business. The Faust Company, an economic think tank, estimates that the U.S. economy lost $1.15 trillion last year because of dishonesty in business. Now, if you break that down into something a little more manageable, that comes out to about $8,000 per worker per year of lost revenue to the U.S. economy. And what's worse is that this phenomenon isn't limited to business. We see it in our schools. Schools of all levels, all over the country, report increases in the number of students who cheat on tests or plagiarize papers. And infidelity in marriage has become so common in our society that it is almost expected and even planned for in many marriages. At times, it seems like if we look at the moral fiber of our nation, it's frayed around the edges, wearing thin, and about ready to tear in half. And as intelligent people, we have to wonder why such trends exist. Well, I think it would be foolish for me to claim to have the specific answer to all of these large problems. In fact, I think there are probably a lot of reasons, but tonight I would like to talk about one specifically. And that is the idea that right and wrong are simply personal preferences. This common yet very dangerous idea that morality is simply relative pervades much of our society. After all, if it's okay to view right and wrong differently, if they're merely passing fancies, what makes them any better or worse than any other desire that may enter our head? It makes it easy to cheat on a test, a spouse, or an employer. I think that the great author C.S. Lewis very effectively summed up our predicament. He said of what happens when we reduce right and wrong, or we remove the idea that there is an absolute right and an absolute wrong. He said, all the time we continue to clamor for those qualities which we are rendering impossible. One can hardly open a periodical today without finding the statement that what our civilization needs is more drive, or more self-sacrifice, or more creativity. In a sort of ghastly simplicity, we remove the organ and demand the function. We make men without chess, and we expect of them virtue and enterprise. We laugh at honor, and we are shocked to find traitors in our midst. Well, I apologize for being a little depressing, but the good news is that this trend is reversible, that we can choose not to be men or women without chess. We can choose not to inspire that in others. We can do this most effectively by standing up and by cheering for those things that we see as virtuous, and by booing and shaming those things that we see as shameful in our society. And that is my challenge to you tonight. I challenge you to honor what is good in the world and to despise what is evil. To stand up for what is correct and not sit down for those things that are evil. And I know that if we do these things, that we can restore this moral fiber of our nation, that we can mend the tares that have infiltrated our society, our schools, and most importantly, ourselves. Thank you very much.